blank slate, state of mind, graffiti eye.
Hey, buddy.
Yo, what's up, man?
I'm really excited to get going talking about what we talked about today. Talking about tonight. I don't think we've really talked one word about it. We have no idea what the other person's going to say.
I gave you a 2-word review right after I saw it.
Give it to me real quick. Give me the 2-word review.
My 2-word review.
Yeah.
It's freaking weird.
One word. It's really weird.
That's an homage to this season of The Bear. If you haven't been watching The Bear, 2 words. It's really freaking weird. But that didn't tell you a whole lot.
No.
So yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to hear your thoughts. You have not told me anything. I know nothing about how you feel about this film. And so I'm psyched.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm excited about it. I know that we've got 2 movies we're working on tonight, right? We're going to talk a little F1 as well.
Yeah, at the end, if we have some time, we'll talk a little bit about F1 at my behest. I feel like it's important. It's an important movie to talk about. Just by way of introduction, before we get too deep into this, I want to show you. I brought another friend. Last episode, I had a friend that I brought a new friend here with me this week. This is a 1984 Return of the Jedi Rancor that I have recently acquired. Yeah, so there he is. What do you think about that? When's the last time you saw one of those?
I just want everybody to know, our listeners, the thousands on YouTube and 15 on YouTube, thousands on Reels, and the 5 people that are watching maybe right now. Like, Kyle's happily married, if you can believe that. He is happily married.
Hey man, you got to find what you love, and
yeah, man.
I love Star Wars figures. I still do.
Do you put that on your nightstand? Is that where does that go?
Well, it just goes in the top of the closet now. It was sitting on my dresser for a minute after I first got it, and then it got banished to the closet with all the others.
Okay, I love it. That's great.
So that's all. I just wanted to introduce my new addition to the collection.
Yeah, that's great. I'm wearing a T-shirt today that says Quaid Army. Quaid Army, Righteous Kill.
I was thinking Quaid from Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall. Quaid.
That is exactly what this is.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is a Seth Meyers Lonely Island podcast T-shirt. Oh. They call their followers a Quaid Army because Andy Samberg did a skit one time on SNL on Quados. He was a Quado, which in Total Recall was the little head inside of a person.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he because in Total Recall, everyone Arnold Schwarzenegger's character is named Quaid. He now calls everybody Quaids, and so it's a lot of hey, what are you Quaids up to? And so thus it became Quaid Army. And
I got you. Okay.
I'm really proud of this bootleg T-shirt.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm really proud of my pull there too.
Yeah, that was good.
I pulled it. Yeah,
it was good.
All right, man. Superman. Let's talk about it. I'm really pumped to hear. This is the real Superman logo, if you're curious.
I don't know, is it? I mean, I feel like the one in the movie is the actual like OG, isn't it?
This is my Superman logo. I'll just put it that way. Let's go with that. Let's go with that explanation.
Not my Superman.
That's the one I recognize.
Okay. Okay. So, Kyle, that's a good segue. What is your history with Superman? If that's your Superman, tell me about your Superman love or affinity or hate, whatever.
Yeah, we covered this a little bit last season when we reviewed the documentary on Christopher Reeve, Super/Man was really good. HBO Max documentary there. Superman is my favorite superhero, like by far. He's the first superhero that I ever knew, that ever came in contact with, whether it was through the Christopher Reeve movie or cartoons, the Super Friends on Saturday morning or whatever. Like, Superman is my entryway into superheroes. So he's the top of my list. Like, he's number one for me. Love him. That's why I have a lot of had a lot of hopes in this movie. Because like, this is my guy. Yeah. I'm really fired up to see what they do. Well, what about you? What's your Superman history? You're more of a Marvel guy, yeah, from childhood.
I'm definitely more of a Marvel guy, I'd say. the Superman is kind of an inescapable part of pop culture, though. You know? I mean, when we were born, the Superman movies were coming out. So the Superman that we kind of knew before anything else was Christopher Reeve. I mean, like we weren't the age of the 50s comics where Superman was the only thing, or, the old TV show where he whatever.
Black and white.
We were used to seeing a man fly. And, so for me, that was a big deal. And then I've followed closely, all of I can say I've never really read many comic books per se. Yeah. I'm very familiar with the comic book stories. I've read some of them, but when we were in I want to say the 90s, maybe, they killed Superman. Like Superman died, and that was a really big thing that had never happened before. And so, we kind of got to see that a little bit on screen with the Zack Snyder cut. Right. The reboot that Bryan Singer did, Lois and Clark on television. I mean, it's really been a part of just about every season in our life up to this point. We have experienced all of the cinema Supermans. Yeah.
And one of my favorites.
Interesting to think about.
Smallville, the TV show. We loved that show back in the day. That was a must see. Like, I think we were live when we would watch it, when it came on,
Yeah. And, that Remy Zero theme song at the beginning was A+.
Somebody save me. Yeah, that was good.
The only one that's better than that would be Enterprise's theme song, Rod Stewart.
It's been a long road getting from there to here. And there's one other that might rival it.
Just for you.
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people stand in the darkness, afraid to step into the light. The Baywatch theme song.
Baywatch.
That'd be Baywatch. Baywatch. Great, man. Those are incredible songs, man.
Yeah, no, they are. And Happily Married, Kyle Wiltshire. I think it's been a big part of both of our lives growing up. And Superman is not one of my favorites, but is a favorite, and obviously is something that's probably shaped kind of all of our views on superheroes.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Were you anxious for this film? Were you, was it kind of a, hey, cool, I'll go check it out? Or, when you approached it, what were your feelings toward it?
That's good. In my long running history with Kyle Wiltshire, I can only think of one time where I was right and he was wrong. And that was Guardians of the Galaxy with James Gunn. Yeah. I was a James Gunn fan. I had seen work of James Gunn. I am a James Gunn believer. And so an apostle, if you will. And I said Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be a hit. And Kyle said it's not going to make $100 million or something to that effect. I mean,
I thought it would be Marvel's first flop. I thought it'd be the first one that just fell on its face. Yeah.
Yeah. And he crushed. I mean, he killed it.
Yeah.
So I have felt that the DCEU, which is what they call it, I think. Is that what they call it? Or the DC?
The current one's DCU. The old one was the DCEU.
Yeah. Okay. The DCU is in really safe hands with James Gunn because I believe that he tells good stories. I believe that his stories are good. They make sense. There is a beginning, middle, and end, and there's reasons for what he does and the choices that he makes. And so I was excited. Now he's a little weird. He does weird things. I felt like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 strayed a little bit. It got a little self-indulgent. Yeah. But all in all, he tells good stories and he makes you feel things. And so I, from the very beginning, was really excited for this Superman. I was really sad because I loved Henry Cavill and I wasn't really looking forward to a new Superman. Yeah. That being said, though, I had a lot of hope in Henry Cavill. I had a lot of hope in James Gunn, and I was hopeful about this film, and I was excited about it all up until about 7 days to go. And at that point, there started to be a couple of leaked, bad press, and I started to get a little nervous. Yeah, I started to get a little nervous, and frankly, I got a little nervous when you came out of it, giving me your two-word review. I was like, did he go weird again? Yeah, and I was excited, but starting to be a little concerned. Starting to be like, okay, is this about to be a big bust?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you my concern started from the trailers. I mean, from the drop. I, frankly was like, why the heck is there a super dog in this movie? Like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And then in one of the later ones, we see Lois Lane piloting a ship of some sort. And we're like, why is Lois Lane piloting a ship?
Yeah.
So those were two like really big concerns. And you were like, you've already judged it. And I tried my very hardest to,
you already judged it. You prejudged it. You prejudged it.
Listen,
I already knew you were going to hate this film before you ever walked in there.
I haven't said that I hated it yet. I was conflicted from the get-go, but I want it to be great.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be great.
Yeah.
Because I love Superman so much. He's my guy.
And a good movie here sets us up for the potential of good future movies with other superhero characters, which is movies that we like.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, let's do it, man. Why don't you rattle off just a real quick, just kind of plot summary, spoiler free, non-spoiler plot summary of this film.
Yeah.
If you're prepared for that.
Yeah. I can do that. I would say that the 2025 Superman is a movie that jumps right into the DC universe. We experience a existing spinning world that is already happening, and we're jumping right into it as Superman has been Superman for a few years now, and we're getting to watch what Metropolis is like with that existence. Superman is now up against a force that he doesn't understand and he's not so sure of, and so we get to watch him be a superhero that's under siege for a good bit of this film. We also get to watch Lex Luthor be the most Lex Luthoriest as he can be. And we get to experience all of the Daily Planet. We get to experience all of Metropolis, and we get to experience some of the other superheroes that already exist in this universe, all while Superman being the very faithful center of this introduction into this DCU.
Yeah, that's well said, because it truly is. I mean, I guess this is the beginning of spoilers. You walk in and there's some text on the screen that kind of lets you know where you are and what's happening and just gives you a little bit of background. Yeah. And then boom, the movie begins.
Yeah.
And you are neck deep in it. There's very little hand holding. There's very little context or anything apart from, like I said, some words on the screen, and we're off to the races.
Yes.
The movie has begun.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's really it. That truly is. But you walk into that movie needing to know Superman, Lois, Lex, Metropolis, and the basic premise of who Superman is. He's an alien who came to Earth from the planet Krypton. And if you know those things, you're kind of ready to see the start of the movie. Now, if you've never heard any of that stuff, I don't know why you'd be in that movie in the first place, but you probably wouldn't enjoy it very much, because it just starts. It's like a roller coaster right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're at the tipping our hand point of the 30-second reviews.
Okay.
Would you like to go first? Would you like for me to go first?
Man, I think I need to go first.
I do too.
Okay.
Let me pull the timer up. Ooh. I'm so excited right now. This is going to be so great, Kyle.
Oh man, got to gather my thoughts. Okay. This is the first time that I was tempted, literally, truly tempted to write something out beforehand because I wanted to say it just right, but I didn't. So we'll see what happens. This may be just a complete mess of thoughts, but here we go. Tell me when you're ready.
All right. This is going to be the 2025 Superman 30-second review. Kyle Wiltshire, start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Superman is about as familiar as it gets when it comes to superhero stories, and people have a lot of history with him. And that's what James Gunn hopes that you understand coming into this movie, because it begins right out of the gun. And the story of this Superman is one that has me very, very conflicted. There's a lot about this story There's things about this story that I like. There's a lot about it that I didn't like. So for me, this Superman iteration, I would give it 2 lightning bolts. Boom.
Okay, 35 seconds.
Yeah, that wasn't my best, but you know.
You want to do it? You want to go again? You want to try another one?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Well, it's tough to unpack because if you are conflicted, you've got lots of things you want to say.
There's a lot I want to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready for yours though. I'm so ready.
Before I go, what is this new Superman's name? David Cornsweet?
Corn Sweat. Yeah, Corn Sweat.
Cornsweet. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to refer to him as Corn Sweat the whole time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get my timer ready here.
Pull it out. Get ready.
Okay. All right, Jay Watson's Star Wars Superman 2025 30-second review in 3, 2, 1, go.
Movies are meant to be fun. Superman is one of the most famous superheroes of the last 100 years, and we get to watch him in a world of chaos be perfectly consistent with who he's always been. Truth, justice, the American way. David Cornsweet was amazing in this role. I loved his passion. I loved his sincerity. I believe that he was Superman in this film. I thought it was a fantastic story. I loved everything about it. 5 lightning bolts.
Whoa.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
That's our first 5.
Yeah.
Our first 5 lightning bolt review. Oh,
5.
I don't have my lightning bolt. Shoot, man. Doggone it. What the hey? You're already getting some
Loved
of my.
it.
You're already getting some of
I
my.
loved it.
Some of my takes.
He said guff at one point. Which is exactly what a, goody from Iowa would probably say.
Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas is right.
Well, let's do it. Jay, what did you like so much about it to give it this is all spoilers. Here we go. Spoiler from here on out.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning from here on out. Jay, what did you love about it so much to give it a 5 lightning bolt review?
I thought he managed to take a character that when super serious, I think it kind of ruins a little bit of the joy. There are things about Superman, because it's 100 years old and they didn't really think too much about modern technologies and stuff, that how does a guy who looks so much like himself still be himself and do all those kind of things? And it kind of can be a little corny when you think about some of the Superman original tropes. And I think he kind of leaned into some of the comic book history, some of the fun pieces of it. And he made a really, really great superhero movie. It started well. I understood what was going on. I understood why, the motivations. I loved the video of, the new Marlon Brando. And I thought that was great. I thought the cameos were great. I loved the bookends of he's soothed by his parents and he's soothed by his parents. I loved the message of you are who you choose to be, not who you're told to be. I love the fact that I could not have enjoyed more maybe that's the real punk rock line. Like, I just thought that was fantastic. I love the Mighty Crab Joy song at the end. I love the jokingly nuts, I love the sincerity of Clark Kent, and I love the cynicism of Lois Lane. I just thought that the entire story was a lot of fun. I thought Lex Luthor was dastardly and he was over the top, and I didn't have a problem with that. I don't want to start trying to say things that you're going to bring up to an argument already of what I think you're going to say. But, I thought that there were only 2 things that really bothered me about the film.
Why don't we save that? Let's go
Okay.
ultra positive to the start.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I mean, there are things about it that I really liked as well.
Rachel Brosnan, terrific.
Yeah.
Clark Kent, terrific. Nicholas Hoult, terrific. I thought all those were really, really good. I enjoyed Jimmy Olsen. I enjoyed, I did. Yeah, we can get into the negatives later, but I just thought they nailed the main cast, and I think they nailed the general concepts of what Superman should be about.
Yeah. I would agree with both of those things. And those are the 2 highlights for me. The cast was fantastic.
Yeah.
I walked in skeptical of Corn Sweat. I really was. But I loved him.
Yeah.
I really did. He did a fantastic job, and
Yeah.
it gives me hope, and it makes me excited for future stories with him as the
Yes.
Superman. I hope
Yes.
that I hope that there's more. I liked Brosnahan. I thought she was a great Lois Lane. It's like it's such a tough place to cast because Lois Lane needs to be attractive, but she doesn't need to be like knock your socks off gorgeous, because it then kind of like, it's a little bit like, okay, to some degree, like Denise Richards as an astrophysicist in James Bond, one of the 90s James Bonds, or Elizabeth Shue as a some kind of scientist in The Saint with Val Kilmer. It's like, okay, that's a little too distracting. You're too hot, and so she was beautiful enough to like go, wow, pretty woman. I can see why Clark would be attracted to her. But her performance was strong enough that it made you understand not just the way she looked, but like her personality, her spunk, her intelligence, her wit, her go getterism. I don't know what word I'm trying to say. All that make you see why he fell in love with her. So
I felt like I was watching Amy Adams in the superhero movie. I did not feel like I was watching Rachel Brosnahan. I didn't feel like I was watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I didn't feel like I felt like I was watching Lois Lane. Like it felt like a much better embodiment of the character. I also enjoyed the chemistry between those two main actors. I believed they liked each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said, you were saying a second ago that when you watched Amy Adams as Lois Lane, you felt like you were watching Amy Adams and not watching Lois Lane. I got you. Okay. Make sure I was understanding. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Of course, I don't have a history with Rachel Brosnahan. I've never seen Marvelous Miss Maisel. I don't know what else she's been in. I think I've seen her in something maybe unknowingly, but so she was kind of fresh for me. I didn't really have any.
Am I pronouncing her name wrong and you're pronouncing it right? Is that why we continue to do it differently?
I think it's Brosnahan. Is that right?
I don't know.
That's.
I take it just like Cookville or Shelbyville or any of the places around here. I just mush all the words together and just say it fast, like Brosnan.
Brosnan. Either way.
Yeah. Okay.
Tomato. Yeah.
You say how you say it. I'll say it how we say it. And okay. I just wanted everybody to know that we have ears and we can tell that we're saying it differently.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So the cast was the two main leads of the cast were fantastic.
Yes.
I did enjoy the, what's the way to say it? I want to say, maybe just the moral purity of, that was the moral compass of his life. It was like, what is
he wanted to do good. He wanted to do good.
What is the good thing? What is the right thing to do? You know?
When's the last time we've had a superhero like that?
Yeah.
They actually portrayed that way.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like, just story wise.
I guess the closest to answer my own question would probably be Tom Holland, Spider-Man. He's probably the closest.
Yeah, probably. Right? Or Captain America, Chris Evans, Captain America. He's, language, he's
that's true.
Got a moral compass, but story wise, I like though that he had a conflict, and it's full spoiler here. So I liked when the message was reconstructed from his parents, his Kryptonian parents, that that he was sent to repopulate Krypton, and he was sent to subdue the people and rule over them,
all really natural things for an alien to do when their planet has been ruined and they're the only ones left, or they're among the few left. Like there wasn't anything that I heard that I was like, well, that's a crazy jump. Like it kind of was like, oh, that could be the other end of a message that you didn't get. That would, it would be upsetting if you heard that. You heard your parents saying that, and that's all you knew of them.
Right. Yeah. But I liked that presented in him a moral conflict.
Yes.
Causing him to question, who am I?
Yes. Or where did I come from?
Yeah.
I thought I came from this great place, and now it's not just that I missed it, but like where I came from was kind of cruddy. And like, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. The most effective scene to me in the whole movie, that I loved deeply was, when he was in his childhood bedroom and Lois was looking at his posters and she was checking out, and it's like, she saw him for who he was. She saw him like, I see you now, the Avatar thing. I see you, like I see who you are.
Man, James Gunn doesn't play around. Like he just does some cool things. Like the little details is what I love.
Yeah. And that coupled with, the the conversation they had earlier in the film,
Yeah.
where they're kind of arguing about,
Yeah.
you know, what's right, and like the joke you made about punk rock, you know, about what is punk rock, yeah. And so I thought that was, you know, really really great scene, the most effective scene in the movie for me.
Yeah. She basically said to Clark, you see the good in everybody. You want to see the best in everyone, something to that effect. And he's like, maybe that's the real punk rock.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I loved it.
That's the spirit of that quote. Not those exact words is not unique to Superman. That is a Bono quote. That is something Bono basically has said quite often.
Yeah. Even better.
So there were elements of it that I really liked. I liked the casting. I like some of the story elements, the conflict in Superman. That's about the extent.
Can you imagine how much I giggled the first time he referenced the fact that he liked punk rock and that he liked the PODs? Could you imagine how much I giggled?
I was like, wait, does he really mean POD? Like, I feel so alive for the very first time.
Boom! Here comes the boom!
That POD? Is that what you mean? That POD?
That's how I took it.
Hey, in your head canon, that's what it means.
Yeah. And you better believe it. The second time I went and saw it, I pulled out the phone. I was like looking up the PODs to try to see if that was a band, real group. And it's not. So
it's funny. It's interesting, the blurring of the lines of what is real Kansas, real place in the United States of America, you know, and then what is like fake, you know, in this fake universe, you know, Metropolis, Gotham City, fake cities that resemble cities that are real. So it's kind of interesting.
The Crabjoy is not a real band. It's some type of a DC comic punk band.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you've exhausted your words about what you liked about it, I know I have.
I liked the supporting characters. I enjoyed Mr. Terrific. I enjoyed that type of Green Lantern. I thought that was really interesting. I didn't care about Hawk Girl. She didn't really have much of a role in the film. I enjoyed the writing. I felt like the writing was very, very crisp. Any questions that might be answered, that might be asked early in the film that you wonder if they're going to come back to, they do. And I like that. The whole Foster situation I thought was a really nice way to bring Millie Alcock in and be Supergirl. Like I thought that the different ways that different things were answered and the why they were the way they were handled very well. I think that it was a really good story and it was a really good setup. I loved the scroll at the beginning, the 3 centuries. You know, the 30 years, the 3 years, the 3 months. I just thought that was, and I mean, I don't know if your brain has thought this way, but like we all understand Superman to be a metaphor for Jesus, right? I mean, it's right. Pretty much the world is in chaos and there's one man who can come and save us all. And so like even starting with threes and you know, coming to the 3 minutes ago, like the significance and the spiritual nature of a 3, like I thought that he handled that really, really well. And I think he showed a world that was in chaos. He showed superheroes even that were flawed, but yet Superman was Superman, a man willing to try to save everyone all the time, even to the point of like harming himself. I want to save this giant monster. How can I humanely take care of this giant monster when it's a giant monster blowing fire everywhere? Right. You know, he saves a squirrel at one point, and I just laughed. It made me happy. It was just it was a very fun way to show. I don't think it was ironic either. I don't think he was making fun of Superman. I think he was celebrating the good-hearted nature of who Superman is.
Now, we had a conversation before we watched the movie, and you talked about how boring the original Superman was, that he saved a cat. Like, are we going to enjoy that? Jay, he saved a freaking squirrel.
He saved a squirrel. Yeah,
he saved a squirrel. I laughed very hard myself when he saves a squirrel. I went, "Oh my goodness!"
Yeah, no, I laughed.
All right, what did you not like about the movie? I mean, it's probably not much if you gave it 5 lightning bolts.
Yeah. There were 2 things that bothered me, just 2 small plot points that I think should have been dealt with a little differently. The first one was that elemental man, Metamorpho, or whatever the guy's name was.
The guy whose hands became kryptonite?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
He couldn't hold the baby while he was transforming, yet he managed to transform into something that pulled them out of a black hole. That didn't make any sense to me. Like, I didn't understand how you could... You needed to get the baby's arms into Superman's arms. You need to get the baby into Superman's arms so he could be fighting while holding a baby, and it could be this thing, right? But like, to come up with a reason being that he can't hold a baby while he's floating or whatever, while he transforms, I don't know. I mean, as I'm thinking about it now, he's in all kinds of different shapes, and some of the shapes he can do this, but in other shapes he can't. And so maybe when he's a gas, he can't hold the baby, and he would have dropped the baby, and maybe that's the answer to that question, when he could change into another element that was solid, but in that in between is when he would drop his child. I guess that's the answer to that. It was a little shaky for me there. And the other one was the entire Daily Planet managed to get on that plane, all the important people that we just didn't see enough of. I didn't really understand. Like, Beck Bennett's part didn't make a lick of sense to me. The other parts I can kind of whatever, but I mean, other than the fact that he was carrying a baseball glove, like, and he talked about the use of an adverb, like, I don't know. It just didn't do much for me. Yeah. I felt like that was kind of a wasted part, and they probably had more stuff written that's on the clippings on the floor. Yeah. But they're all in the plane together. They're all in the Mr. Terrific ship, and they don't ask the question, "Where's Clark?" Right. I thought that was really weird. I thought that was a really weird, like, just miss, like, why they didn't even address it, Yeah. And I think he just chose to ignore it because that's part of the Superman lore, right? Like, Clark Kent's never there at the scene, but yet nobody knows it's him. And so, that was a little tough for me.
I can excuse stuff like that. The why didn't they ask where Clark was? That wasn't a big deal. I hated just about everything.
For just a second though, why? Why can you excuse that?
Like you said, because that's kind of basically the Superman thing, And I do kind of appreciate, on some level, the glasses explanation that he has some type of like. Apparently, that was an old comic book plot point.
Comic book canon in the 70s. Yeah,
that he used his glasses kind of mystified people to make them not recognize that he was Superman. So I can get on board with that sort of thing. And honestly, it didn't trigger my mind because it felt like maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. I've only seen it the one time, but it didn't seem to me like they should have been like, "Where's Clark?" Yeah. It just didn't come to me in that. But I hated just about every second that they spent in the Pocket universe. I felt the CGI was bad. It was so dark. I couldn't see. When they got in the Purple River, I was like, "What is this?" It was those little things. I didn't really like Metamorphi or whatever that Gary. No, Gary's the robot. At the end, but
did you catch the voices that were the robots? By the way,
I did, and I'm done with Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk. Those guys can just, they can continue to do their USA Network TV shows if they want, but you don't have to shoehorn them into every single comic book property or franchise from now until eternity.
There were some of the Guardians of the Galaxy were the other robot voices, by the way.
I did see that on IMDb. I saw Palm Clemmeth was
Michael
one.
Rooker.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah.
I didn't catch those voices when they spoke.
Yeah.
Maybe was she the one that said he smiled at me or he looked at me or something? Okay. Yeah. So I register that now, but I didn't clock it at the moment. I did not register a Yondu voice at all.
Another cameo that you didn't catch, Michael Rosenbaum, the Lex Luthor from Smallville.
Yeah.
Played one of the Raptors who said, I can't believe it was the comment about sending sexy selfies to somebody else. How stupid is she? That was him.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize that. Yeah. Interesting.
I thought that was neat.
He's got a pretty decent podcast I've listened to pieces of before where he goes back and talks to his old Smallville cast and so forth. Anyway, so here's my thing. I've thought long and hard about this. The movie that I could compare Superman to the most, for me, not story-wise, but just thematically and the way it made me feel, is Star Wars Episode 8. Okay, because I think in both circumstances, the filmmaker set out to subvert expectations at every turn. Like at every turn, the filmmaker wanted to, if you think it's going to go this way, it's going to go this way. It's going to be opposite of what you think is going to happen. So much so in the Star Wars 8 trailer, Luke Skywalker's like, this is not going to go the way you think it is. And that's the way it was for me watching Superman. At every turn, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. Some of those were okay things.
For instance,
Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. I know it wasn't her, but I thought for a few seconds that it was. I was like, now that's funny that they got the, they reassembled the cast.
Boy.
What was that movie called? We talked about it in our last episode.
Born.
A Star is Born. They reunited the cast of A Star is Born.
Yeah.
In every other Superman story I've ever seen, Jor-El is like this guiding light, at least that I know of. I'm sure there's somewhere he's not, but he's this guiding light for goodness. And now I got Bradley Cooper speaking Italian or whatever in a language I don't understand.
I would say Kryptonian.
But he looked like a Renaissance, like a Renaissance figure in a Renaissance painting.
Like Marlon Brando to me. I mean, that's pretty much what Marlon Brando looked like.
He just had like big flowing robes. Anyway, it was so that subverted my expectations. Let me ask you, Jay Watson.
What else?
Did Superman?
No.
What else subverted my expectations?
Yeah.
Did Superman at any point in this movie win a fight?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
He lost
beat Ultraman.
every fight. I guess so. He sucked him into the black hole.
Yeah,
no,
he beat Ultraman. He outsmarted Lex Luthor to beat Ultraman.
It was the dog that won the fight. Every.
No.
Okay, maybe I'm misremembering
not even a little
that.
bit. You can't say the dog won the fight because the dog didn't know to come fight. He outsmarted Lex Luthor. He realized that he had somebody that could take his cameras. He took his cameras, and Ultraman can't be led, and so he beats Ultraman. And so, it wasn't just that Superman used his strength; he used his brains. And
I get that. It's fine.
I would even say with the big giant. I forget what they call them. Caillou.
It was a Pokemon, is what it was. It was a stupid Pokemon.
Yeah, it's some DC monster that shows up. He was trying to lose to save people, and so I think there were lots of moments where he was winning by losing, which is a very Christian worldview in a way. That's what Jesus does. So Kyle, if you have problems with this movie, I think you have problems with Jesus. Is what I'm trying to say.
I did not like that at least one time in the movie. He just kicked somebody's butt, physically. So that's the big complaint about Superman is that he's OP'd. He's overpowered. No one can beat him, right? And so subverting expectation, he made Lex Luger, the Human Torture Rack, Lex Luthor. He made Lex Luthor OP'd in this one. I've never seen a more powerful Lex, where he basically got the best of Superman at every turn in the entire movie.
That's Lex in. The same stories that Trump going from a TV personality to being president. I'm pretty sure Lex does that at one point. Like over decades, Lex Luthor has done just about all these things that he had him do, and so it doesn't make a lot of sense to me all the time that Lex is this cowering. I can't think of his name right now. Facebook guy.
Mark Zuckerberg.
No, Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, Eisenberg. Yeah.
Lex says Jesse didn't do it for me. Nicholas Hoult did. And there was a little tip of the hat to the zaniness of Gene Hackman, knocking the pins off the desk twice and stuff like that. It worked for me. There were lots of things. There were other things that I wished James Gunn had chosen not to do stylistically, but I didn't have a problem with the story. I didn't have a problem with the movie. It was super fun, and I was glad I went. It was very efficient. It was an efficient story. It wasn't bloated. It was
not bloated. I will agree with that. My last complaint. All right. So I've hit the big ones. The subversion of expectation. To me, Superman is your first round draft pick. Okay. He is the the best that they have in DC. Okay, best character, best abilities, whatever. Everything about him is the best to me. Okay, and you surround him with clowns. The whole movie, he is surrounded by clowns, the Justice Gang or whatever they're called, those goofballs, and all that. So to me, it's like Michael Jordan's coming out of college, and instead of going into the NBA draft, he decides to go play for the Harlem Globetrotters. Right? He's like, I just want to go goof off and go have fun. I'm going to go, hit behind the back, baskets and throw buckets of confetti on people and they think it's going to be water. I'm going to go laugh and go have fun and go goof off with the boys, do trick shots and stuff. That'll be great. That'll be a good use of my talent. To me, it was a misuse of the greatness of this character to surround him with buffoons like whoever this Green Lantern dude is and the Hawk Girl who, like you said, did nothing. I mean, Mr. Terrific, what an awful name. The names are horrible in DC. I guess I'm just not deep enough into the lore to know how terrible the names are. Ultraman and Mr. Terrific,
They're all really old.
Yeah,
a lot of them are all really, really old. And yeah.
They reboot and retcon, right? Change their names. Give them cooler names. For Pete's sake.
No, don't listen to what Kyle just said. Anyone that cares or matters, don't do that. We know that you will get so much hate mail for so many years that you'll never get to do a movie again. Don't do what Kyle's saying.
So those are my complaints. I thought it was, as I said, super weird.
Did you give it 2 stars?
I gave it 2 lightning bolts. Yeah.
You're telling me that you went to that movie and you had the time that you had in there and you walked out of it and thought, this is worse than... This is on par with Karate Kid Legends, or this is on par with some of these that you've given 2 stars to. Like, you gave Lilo and Stitch, for goodness sake, a higher rating than Superman. That's not right, Kyle.
Because when you go to a fine restaurant and you expect a filet mignon and they serve you a hot dog, you're just not satisfied. And that's the way I felt. I felt that I was expecting the best of my favorite dish. My favorite thing, Superman, right? And what I was given is, McDonald's cheeseburger, something that just is okay, it's all right. That's the way I experienced it.
I would say that if you're going to I would say, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It was a result of the conflict, the way it made me feel, the conflict in watching this, something I wanted to love so bad, I wanted to like so bad. And it just didn't deliver the way I hoped and wanted it to deliver. That's the bottom line right there. That's what I would say if I could redo my 30-second review. It didn't deliver the way I hoped and thought it would. I just think
maybe your expectations were not where they should have been for, like, if you go see The Godfather, or you go see a P.T. Anderson movie, or you go see something that's got Daniel Day-Lewis in it or Leonardo DiCaprio, like, you're going to something that you expect to be filet mignon. Like, you're literally talking about a bubblegum cartoon comic character that flies around on the screen and entertains you. And it was super entertaining and it was super fun. And I think it's going to do very well for a long time. And I think the DCU is going to make films. Will they all be good? I don't know. I don't really like most DC characters, so it's not like I'm super excited about it. But I do think he's going to do a good job. And I think they're going to make films and be successful.
And it's super weird. Super, super, super weird.
I just think that you have accepted parts of Superman's story, and because you've accepted it, you don't think about what they mean. I mean, he is a literal alien. He is attacked by a strange, mysterious substance that is from, like, it's from his planet, but it's not from his planet. It's a part of his planet. Like, you've just accepted things that you've always known to be about the story that you don't find weird. In the same way, there are tons of superhero stories that you just kind of accept because and you don't really judge it too much. Thor's Rainbow Highway or whatever, or Idris Elba just sitting there looking off into the distance. Like you've accepted some of those things because it's a part of the world. But like the things that were brought up in this story were not only not uncommon to other hero stories, but very much a part of the DC world. And it is a comic book. Like, whether you want to say they should make films for people that watch films, like, ultimately, like, I went to the film with my mom. My mom doesn't really watch superhero movies. She doesn't love that. She loved the movie. She came away loving it. And, like, I don't know. I just don't think, I think it's like, I think we just experienced one of the best gourmet hot dogs that has been delivered in a while is where I would land for it.
Okay. All right. Agree to disagree.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I didn't have a bad time at the movie. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be. It wasn't what I hoped it would be. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And I appreciate a little bit more of a, maybe I say it this way. I was hoping maybe for a little bit more of a grounded Superman story. You know, Marvel was really good about the stories at the start were a little more grounded, or a little more, I guess, relatable. I mean, yeah, the Thor stuff is weird, but it's, what was the bottom line of the story? It was a father and a son, you know, and he got mad at him and he, you know, kicked him out of the house. That's the bottom line of what that story was, you know. And I guess there's some bottom line things about this Star Wars, or gosh, why did I'm just automatically go to Star Wars? It's the Superman story that it just, you know, yeah, it was a guy who's having an identity crisis, you know, based on finding some stuff out about his family, his past, his history. Okay, I can relate to that. I appreciated that, you know, but the substance, the substance of what made up the story just didn't do it for me, you know.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree.
Okay.
What did you think about the Kent parents?
That's another thing. Man, I hated them. I hated them. I felt like it was so patronizing to country people. Like, let's just make fun of country bumpkin stupid people. I washed your boots for you. You know, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I guess that probably wasn't the his intention. That's the way it came off, you know?
I just think that's the way you saw it. I don't know that it came off that way. I mean, that was a very poignant message from a weird looking dude.
The dad was a little more, you know, I could jive with the dad a little more. The son is just pouring into my room.
Does your mom talk on her phone on speakerphone like that?
No.
I think most moms do.
That was an annoying scene as well when she couldn't figure out her phone and she's, you know, anyway.
I think that is much more common. I think
I'm sure
Irma Wiltshire is way ahead of her time.
I'm sure it's relatable, but
extremely relatable.
I did not like the way they sounded. And I did not like the way Pa Kent looked. I thought
I don't like him as an actor. I've never been able to enjoy his roles. His eyes bother me.
Yeah.
The eyes flit back and forth and it's like a thing. And like, it takes me out of everything he does because I just keep watching his eyes.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, maybe I'll get canceled because of that, but
I love that scine though, where it
was a fantastic scene, but if you watch the way he shot it, you didn't see his eyes very often.
Why'd he cast him then? Man,
I don't know.
Just very strange.
Yeah. I don't know.
The sunlight is just pouring into my room, man.
You know what that is? That's God telling you that you're wrong about two lightning bolts.
He's affirming me. He's affirming my my assessment.
Well, I think the good news is that we'll know one of us will be right, one of us will be wrong, and it'll be purely based on box office.
Well, you know, when it boils down to box office, you know, obviously it did really well. And I want good Superman movies in the future. I want good superhero movies in the future. But what we have here in my own life is when you have a glut of something, when you have an excess of something, the basic emotion that comes out by and large is contempt. When you have a scarcity of something, you're happy for what you got. So what we have, you know, when episode 1 came out, right? It wasn't awesome. Star Wars episode 1. It wasn't like the greatest thing ever. But initially coming out of that movie, we were like, man, it's just cool to have Star Wars in our life again. It wasn't the best thing ever. But because what we had was so little, now that we have so much, what we have towards all of it, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's superheroes, Superman, Marvel, Iron Man, whatever, all that stuff, we drift toward contempt because we have so much of it, you know? And so I would not be sad at all if they'd throttle it back, you know, and just do one a year, and you know, make it good, clean, airtight stories. You know, like when
did you think that the story in Superman was bad?
No, I didn't think it was bad. I just didn't like, you know, like the parts, You know, like
Yeah, but
we'll talk.
just
Maybe
the story.
we'll just talk about F1 in just a little bit. Maybe you know, the parts when they're building tires, they're putting a new chassis in to make it go faster. All these things, putting the parts to build the car, the parts that they use to build the story of Superman. Whether it's the Justice Gang, whether it's the Pocket Universe, whether it's the, you know, some of the weird characters that showed up, you know, were just not my cup of tea. Just not what I enjoy when it comes to to superhero movies. It was, and like you said, I agree totally. Guardians 3, I felt like he got indulgent, and I think he was very indulgent in this movie. You know, there's a whole thing. I'm not going to go into it, but how, you know, the Superman was a metaphor for James Gunn's return to prominence after being canceled a few years ago for his bad tweets or whatever it was. I'm not going to get into that because that's silly, but I think it was the most self-indulgent story that James Gunn's ever told, from just the basic story pieces, not the storyline, but the pieces that made up the story. But I liked, you know, kind of the basic plot of the story. I was a little put off by the fact that they just jumped right in, that there was very little setting the table, you know, that we just, you know, that kind of threw me off, to be honest. But it wasn't the worst, but it did throw me off a little. So anyway, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Let's talk about F1 just for a few minutes. We don't have to get too deep in. We have to go through the whole 9 yards of talking about it, but I really, really had a great time at F1. I really loved F1. And I believe movies like F1 are what's going to save the film industry, not movies like Superman. Now, Superman, you know, did big box office. I think it's in one weekend, it exceeded what F1 has made in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, however many weeks it's been out. But movies like F1, where, you know, it's not, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is gospel. I'm just saying this is my opinion. Where you go in and, you know, it's worth it to see on the big screen. It makes a difference to see it on the big screen than when you're going to see it in your home awesome television. Everybody's got an awesome television now, but you see it on the big screen. It makes a difference, and the story is just solid. It's not the greatest story ever told. It's not awful either. It's just solid. I think those are the type of movies that they need to invest in more. And you can do that without the massive budget of F1. That's why, you know, it's not my genre. I don't like it, but that's why horror movies continue to do well, because they figure out how to tell these like compelling stories that if you see it in the theater, you enjoy it more. It's more fun to watch it with a crowd of people, or it's more fun to watch it on a big old screen, you know, than on your little home television. But what were your thoughts on F1? You said I'll just let you speak. What were your thoughts on F1?
Leaving the film, I felt like it was a good movie. You know, it was good. It was fine. After some reflection and some time and studying a little bit about F1 racing, a lot of it bothers me. I think that it wasn't a good story because most of the plot devices they use to progress the story aren't real and can't be used. And, you know, if Brad Pitt would have done one of the things he did early on, he would have gotten kicked out and he never would have raced. He would have had to qualify in a race before he could have done something else, and he didn't do that. So, like, the whole premise of how he got to do what he did and how he kept doing it over and over, it made for a fun popcorn movie, but it was way less realistic than Superman, for sure.
Okay. All right.
Kyle, they didn't even use F1 cars. Those were F2 cars. That's not a joke.
Okay.
F1 cars cost $250,000 a day to run. This is what my expert reporter, Jason Twilly Allen, told me, and I looked it up and confirmed it. F1 cars to run, pit and all, $250,000 a day. F2 cars, $50,000 a day. Still a lot of money. Still cool that they did race cars. But I just feel like if you're going for authenticity and you're not going to use F1 cars in a movie called F1, like, what are you doing? I don't understand. Now,
see, but to learn every bit of that, you had to do a whole lot of research.
No, not a whole lot, Kyle.
I mean,
like maybe 2 articles, like
still,
less than 10 minutes of my life, Kyle.
You had to go read stuff about it. Did you enjoy it when you were watching it?
I just didn't care.
You went going to look to pick it apart. You went to try to go find ways to pick it apart.
No, I just found out things about the story.
Yeah.
Like I found out things about the story. I did talk to a couple people that like F1 because I don't like F1. I'm not rich and I'm not white. And so like, I don't care about this. No, I'm just kidding.
Jay, you're as white as Pa Kent. Come on.
I am as English as the day is long. Except I have good teeth. I did talk to a couple of people that like really like F1 and follow it. And they were like, man, the races were fun to watch. It was just so unrealistic that if you go in and just watch it and you're like, okay, this is fun. I get to see Brad Pitt. Like you do that and that's fine. It was an okay hot dog. Like, but it was completely inaccurate. And all the things that I was worried about as I sat there and watched the film, I was like, can you even do this? Can you even do this? Can you even do this? No, you can't. Like nobody just walks up on the side from the side of the road and starts racing and like, does the things. Like it's just, the more I've spent time thinking about it, and it's okay. I'm allowed to think about films on my own. Like,
Sure.
I just didn't think it was as good as how I felt when I left.
Okay. Well, I loved it. I had a lot of fun watching that movie. I had a lot more fun watching that than Superman. But
To be fair, let's talk about similar things for a second.
yeah.
If you were to talk about your love for a man more than any other man on the planet, would it be the director of Top Gun Maverick?
I do have a deep appreciation for Joe Kosinski.
Yes.
I think
And the director of this film?
Is Joe Kosinski. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
Yeah. But those two things
No
are
bias
unrelated. Those two things are unrelated. I mean, I could say
I think you decided, just in the same way I walked in and said, I'm a big James Gunn fan. You're a big Chad Stahelski fan or whatever the guy's name is.
Joe Kosinski.
This is my pot. Just imagine this is my pot, and this is just me stirring right now.
Well, I'm glad you admitted it because it's the same thing for James Gunn. You went thinking, "Oh, this man makes great stories. He does a good job. He's not weird at all."
That is not what I said.
I know. I'm teasing.
Okay.
I'm pushing buttons now. This is me pushing buttons right here. I'm pushing buttons.
I don't know why James Gunn. Like, I feel like if James Gunn were to have a like a thing that just doesn't make any sense, why do all of his films have prisons that look like Connect Four boards that like everybody's in cubes? Like that doesn't
Interesting.
It doesn't like in just about every film you see you see the zoo that Benicio del Toro has, and that shows up in a couple of the places, right?
Yeah.
And then this is a similar kind of feel, and it's even lit in a similar kind of way, and it just isn't.
Weird.
I don't know
Interesting.
why. It could have been chosen so differently, and he didn't. He basically did the same thing, and I thought that was very strange.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess the bottom line is, I'm a little bit in my not my heyday, in my what's the downside of my enjoyment of, my whole speech about scarcity and abundance, on the downside of enjoyment of superhero stuff at the moment.
Maybe you're experiencing full contempt.
I might just feeling contempt. Yes, I might be feeling contempt.
And I can appreciate that.
And to see a movie like F1, it felt so like 1991 or something again, like it felt like just a throwback to the movies we used to enjoy when we were teenagers. Doesn't have to have a rich plot, doesn't have to have deep, meaning and all these things. You don't have to, we didn't even touch on the Superman's an immigrant stuff. You don't have to have deep political or social implications. It's just a movie. It's just a story, and it's fun. And race cars go fast, and it's just kind of. I enjoyed it for those reasons. I didn't feel like I had to come in and and have any other extra knowledge. Apparently it's all wrong, but the F1 stuff I felt did not go over my head. It was like you got tires and you got body styles, and that's what makes the cars go faster or slower.
Even changing the body style, that's like you got at least they handled some of that well. I thought that they got dinged for that. They couldn't use the body that they tried to change in the middle of the season. I didn't mind. No Country for Old Men. I can't think of his name.
Javier Bardem.
Yeah, thought he was fine. I thought that the female in the story was
It's Carrie Condon, not who did I think it was? The woman from Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Rebecca Ferguson. I thought until the movie started that it was Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, I thought that it was great. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that Brad Pitt was being a movie star.
Yeah.
And it was fine.
Yeah.
It was a good movie. I don't regret that I didn't see it, but it just is not. It's a 2.5, 3-star, 3 lightning bolt thing for me. It's not anything that I'm ever going to remember or care about. I did hear a rumor that Cole Dickel, is that Tom Cruise's name in Days of Thunder?
Cole Trickle. Hey, if that happens.
Cole Trickle and Brad Pitt
and Sonny Hayes.
Yeah. They're gonna find each other in the Baja Peninsula, I guess. And,
oh man.
And this is what I think for real. Like, here's the real reality. They're making a new universe, and you've heard it here first. You can quote me on this. Cole Trickle and Sonny Hayes are actually vampires, and they're going to interview at the end of the whole thing.
They have an interview with one another. That's great. If you didn't understand any of that, dear listener, that was Tom Cruise's character in Days of Thunder. There's a rumor going around that there's going to be a Days of Thunder sequel that collides with the F1 universe, and Brad Pitt is going to reprise his character, Sonny Hayes, from F1 in this new movie. And that would be another example of the type of movies they need to be making right now to get people into the theaters.
Vampire race car drivers.
Now, that's a movie that James Gunn would make right there.
That's a movie that I'd watch. I'll tell you that. If I want to see Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter in the theaters, I'll go to see that movie.
I don't think this is historically accurate.
Irma gets 2 today.
She got 2 mentions. I love it. She'll never hear it either.
If you want to know what we're talking about real quick, I can tell that story.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, I think
Irma
I have
Wiltshire.
told it on the pod, but
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah,
Irma gets on a plane. She's watching Abraham Lincoln, and it's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and she's not quite sure about the authenticity of it after it's over with.
Thought it was Daniel Day-Lewis's Lincoln. Thought it was a Steven Spielberg Lincoln movie. She's like, he just started killing vampires, and it was real weird.
He had an axe. Oh, that's good.
Look, his mouth opens and everything.
I played with that thing.
I never had
Kyle,
one.
What did we learn tonight?
I learned that your mother speaks to you on her speakerphone instead of
everyone. She speaks to everyone.
She speaks to everyone that way.
Yes,
why
everyone.
do they do it? Is it because they can't hear well? Is that the reasoning behind it?
I don't pretend to. Yeah. I'm not going to go into reasons. It's just, it is a universal sign. It's what moms do these days. Just wait for it. One day you'll be sitting there, and all of a sudden you're going to hear a prayer request from some little old lady at like 30, 40 decibels, as loud as a cell phone will go. Just buckle up.
That's good. Oh man. Jay, what'd you learn?
Oh man, I learned a lot. I learned that I'm trying to think of anything positive. I was going to make fun of you. Lots of things. Like I was going to say that,
I have no tolerance for pocket universes.
Yeah,
maybe? Yeah.
you hate movies or something. I don't know. I couldn't come up with a good joke. I think I learned that what we experienced in this podcast is the same thing that's happening across critics across the country right now. There are people that either really love this film or there are people that really don't care for it.
Yeah.
And I've even heard that it's been politicized in such a way, like, some places are telling people don't watch it because it promotes universal acceptance of everyone.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't go see that. And it is highly political.
Yeah.
And I just didn't feel those things. I mean, every story's got some type of political intrigue. Captain America, Brave, all of them. You got to deal with politics and all this kind of stuff. And if it was meant to be subversive, like it was subliminally enough that it didn't bother me.
I don't think that was the primary reasoning that, for the story. It wasn't the primary message that he was trying to get out there, but I do think it was intentional. I do think it was intentionally put into the story. I don't think it was in any way objectionable or any way like, you shouldn't see this movie for that. I mean, Fox News get a hold of it or whatever. No, I
No,
don't.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
there's Facebook articles where it's like, don't go see this film. This person,
Superman's woke,
Yeah.
whatever that garbage. Yeah, it's
No.
it's not that at all. I don't
No.
feel that way at all. But I am growing a little weary of everything having to have some type of subtextual message. That just like I said, the contempt in me for superhero stories is growing. I think it's growing by the day. But that said, my middle son and I are plowing our way through the MCU again. And tonight, when you and I are done with this, I'm going to eat a bowl of chili and I'm going to watch Captain America Civil War. A great superhero movie.
Yeah, up for good times.
A great superhero movie.
Up for good times.
Can't wait for that.
Well, buddy, have fun. And thank you for tonight. We got ourselves a good podcast. We got some
buddy.
good blurbs as well we'll be able to put together.
Thank you, man. Enjoyed it.
I had a lot of fun. And with that,
Yep.